Have you ever felt like the world around you is spinning out of control? The news is filled with one crisis after another. We're facing challenges in our personal lives, our families, our communities. In a world filled with chaos, uncertainty, and distress, the peace of God holds immense importance. And let me tell you something, this isn't just some fleeting feeling, here 1 minute and gone the next. Unlike that temporary peace we might find when things are going our way, God's peace is deep, unwavering, and it transcends human understanding. It's a peace that surpasses all understanding. As Philippians 4:7 tells us, it's a peace that stays with you, even in the midst of your struggles, your worries, your fears. Here's why it is essential. Imagine for a moment a boat caught in a raging storm. The waves are crashing, the wind is howling, and that little boat is being tossed about like a toy. Now that boat could represent any one of us when life throws its inevitable storms our way. The loss of a loved one, a job, maybe even a health challenge. It can feel like everything around us is falling apart. But here's where God's peace steps in. It's like an anchor for our souls. It holds us steady, keeps us grounded, even when the storms of life are raging all around us. It allows us to remain calm, to think clearly, to make wise decisions even in the midst of chaos. You see, when we have that deep, abiding peace that only God can give, we don't have to be tossed about by every wind that blows. We can stand firm, knowing that He is in control and He will see us through. Let's talk about anxiety, fear, worry. These are constant companions for so many of us in today's world, aren't they? We're bombarded with negative news. We face pressure from all sides, and it can feel like our minds are constantly racing. But Isaiah 26:3 tells us something so powerful. It says, "You will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you." Did you hear that? Perfect peace. Not just a little peace, but perfect, complete peace. And how do we find that? By keeping our minds stayed on God, by putting our trust in Him. When we focus on God, on His love for us, on His promises, on His power, those anxieties, those fears, those worries, they begin to fade. They lose their grip on us. We can rest in the assurance that He is in control and He is working all things together for our good. Life is full of crossroads, isn't it? Moments when we have to make big decisions, life-altering choices, and sometimes those decisions can feel overwhelming. We're afraid of making the wrong choice, of taking the wrong path. But here's the good news. We don't have to navigate those decisions alone. Colossians 3:15 tells us, "Let the peace of God rule in your hearts, to which also you were called in one body, and be thankful." Think about that for a moment. Let the peace of God rule in your hearts. When we invite God's peace into those decision-making moments, it acts as our guide. It helps us to quiet the noise of the world, the doubts, the fears, and to listen to that still, small voice within, the voice of God guiding us, leading us to the best path. Chapter 4. Overcoming Fear. Finding courage in His peace. Fear. It can be so paralyzing, can it? It can keep us stuck, prevent us from pursuing our dreams, from living our lives to the fullest. But John chapter 14 verse 27 offers us such a beautiful promise. Jesus said, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid." You see, God's peace isn't like the world's peace. The world's peace is often dependent on circumstances, on things going our way. But God's peace, it transcends circumstances. It's a peace that remains even in the midst of trials, in the face of fear. When we embrace God's peace, when we remind ourselves that He is in control, that He is with us always, fear loses its power. We can move forward with faith, with courage, knowing that He will never leave us nor forsake us. Chapter 5. Stronger Relationships. The power of peace in our interactions. Our relationships, they're the heart of our lives, aren't they? Our families, our friends, our colleagues, they bring us joy, support, and love. But let's be honest, relationships can also be challenging at times. We're all different. We all have our own perspectives, our own ways of seeing the world. And sometimes those differences can lead to misunderstandings, conflicts, even pain. But here's where God's peace can make all the difference. Romans chapter 12, verse 18 tells us, "If it is possible, as much as depends on you, live peaceably with all men." When our hearts are filled with God's peace, we're more likely to be patient with others, more understanding, more forgiving. We're able to extend grace more readily, to see things from their perspective. And that, my friends, is what fosters true unity, true connection in our relationships. Chapter 6. Eternal Assurance. Finding Peace Beyond This World. We live in a world that is constantly changing, constantly in flux. What seems certain today may be gone tomorrow. And in the face of that impermanence, it's easy to feel uncertain, even afraid. But here's the truth, the peace that God offers, it's not fleeting, it's not temporary, it's eternal. John chapter 16 verse 33 says, "These things I have spoken to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation. But be of good cheer, I have overcome the world." Think about that. Jesus, in the midst of his own suffering, offered his followers peace. Not just peace for that moment, but a peace that would last for eternity. And that's the peace he offers each one of us today. A peace that transcends this life. A peace that assures us that no matter what happens in this world, we have a hope, a future, a home waiting for us in eternity. Outrow embrace the peace. In a world full of chaos, the peace of God is not just a luxury, it is a necessity. It's the antidote to the fear, the worry, the distress that seeks to consume us. It's the key to living with confidence, with hope, with joy, even when life throws its inevitable curveballs our way. Remember that little boat being tossed about in the storm? Well, God's peace is like the anchor that keeps us grounded, the compass that guides our way, the life raft that carries us through. It's always available to us, no matter what we're facing. All we have to do is reach out and receive it, seeking His presence daily through prayer, through reading His Word, through simply talking to Him and trusting in His promises. That's the key to experiencing this peace fully and completely. So I encourage you today, embrace the peace of God, let it fill your heart, transform your mind, and guide your steps. And as you do, you'll discover a strength, a resilience, a joy that you never thought possible.